Okay, today I'm going to talk. I know I've made a couple videos today with just music in the background, but I've been doing this a little bit. The back there, yes, that is salt water dripping down the back of the tank. It didn't drip on its own. When we took it from the 75-gallon Catfish tank, it was a saltwater tank, and the Catfish was in this 55. Now, the 55 is now a saltwater tank full of guppies. And I mean full of them. But this was the tank that it was. It was the 75-gallon redtail catfish. It was all saltwater, and yes, that is a massive, massive task. So these two tanks are side by side. He is so pretty. But these two tanks are side by side because the transfer was a lot easier to go from this 75-gallon fish tank to the 55 with just the pump. I took and put the intake was already in this full of salt water. And I took the intake and left it in here, and I took the outtake and put it in the 55. When the 55 was full, I lost water, 20 gallons of water, because I was downsizing. But the salt level stayed right where it was supposed to be, and these fry have made it and are making beautiful babies now. These are actually half black. Excuse the glare, the sun is so bright outside. I love it. It's Ohio and it's sunny. These are actually half blacks, well, half solids, because if you look at them, they're not black. They are actually a tequila sunrise mixed with half blacks. Now, the half blacks dominated my tanks for a while because my tanks were only the big one and a 29 that's in the office now. But the 29 that's in the office is pure nothing but half blacks and solids. We have some solid females in there, so we should be getting solid black males. But you have to have all this stuff in this tank. If you cannot figure out, the ruckus behind us is the iguanas. It is mating season. So we have not been filming them yet. So, yeah. It's kind of gruesome to watch. There's always hiding spots in here. Normally there's a lobster in here, and there would be some snails. But like I said, this tank is newer. The back will get clean. Trust me, that gap is like that big. So I have to use brain power and a yardstick and a rag and some Windex, and it'll come off. The main point of this video is to show you that saltwater guppies are, so there's my solid female, are prettier in color. I mean, there are some, like that leopard tail right there. She should not be that bright for a female, but she is. I mean, they just look better. They look healthier if they're in salt water. Now, in nature, I will tell you, in nature, a guppy will swim from fresh water into mediocre salt. Within a week, they'll be in the salt water, taking and going to their new freshwater location. So this is a normal migration for these guys. I do not know the lifespan of a saltwater guppy. I just got started with this thanks to a friend of mine, Jimmy. He showed me his, and I was intrigued, and he had endlers. These are fancy guppies. A lot of these females are older. That one right there is probably a part of my 2-year-old batch. I'd have to go check my record books. But she's a good girl. She's produced a lot of babies. Retiring them in this tank doesn't take very long. Maybe I think I keep them in here I'll keep them in about 6 months. I know it looks messy. That's where tape was to hold a filter onto here when it was a freshwater. That is a piece of ham. They get all kinds of treats in this tank. I think it is more the family dropping it in the tank than it is actually us really wanting to give it to them. But the lobster that was in here passed away. We'll be getting another one later because the tank is up close to the heating. It stays too warm for a lobster, so I got to get another 55. to take and do it for me. Yes, it looks gross. Looks very gross, right? This is the start of a saltwater tank finally showing signs that it is ready. Fish acclimate the tank. They fix the tank, get the pH and everything where you need it, and then you start adding in your other creatures if you want. The only thing about adding a lobster is, yes, they eat fish. Yes, guppies are curious creatures. They want to know what that big thing is you just threw in their tank. So I think we might get another 55-gallon and start small lobsters in it outside for the winter, because it's cold enough on the porch where it ain't going to freeze, but it isn't going to... There's actually a snail in here, I think. No, that's a paint blob. This tank my husband Todd actually resealed for me. We bought it at Tropical Paradise in Minerva, Ohio. This is where I sell most of my fish also. Thank you, Sherry and Debbie, for being great supporters and helping me out all the way. Sherry and Debbie are I swear, the most honest and sweetest people there are when it comes to their animals and their fish. But when I told Sherry that I was getting immaculate colors, they had to see them. Because my fish program started out as a colony tank. It did not start out with this big one first. But my husband resealed it. As you could see, the seal on this one, we weren't too worried about looks at the moment. So we just sealed it straight down. He sealed it nice. I mean, real nice. Now, the thing with sealing your tank, I'm going to tell you one good thing about that. You don't want to go and spend oodles on caulking, because for goodness sakes, you have to recaulk a tank a certain amount every year, every so often. Mine are, I think, every 5 years. If it springs a leak, you could super glue it for a minute to get what you need done. But this is what we use: GE Clear, indoor, outdoor. You let it sit for about 3 days to a week. I just jumped right into it, and I killed a lot of fish like an idiot. But at least I'm honest. I guess I can say that. But this salt tank here, we'll never sell the tank, we'll never sell the fish. Well, we sell the fish, not these fish, is what I mean. These are my breeders. Like, she's a gorgeous, gorgeous leopard tail and she's just got the, I love the colors that they're giving me. God grants us the blessing with the fish and helps us make a living with these little guys. Also, if you got any guppies that you do not want and you just want to flush them down the toilet, you're so sick of them, give me a call or hit me up on Facebook, April Marie Con Weekly, and I will try to help you figure out either a home for them, or I could possibly get them, because I take in all unwanted guppies normally. And as you see, they will always have big homes. And if not, they go to the sale tank and they find good homes. So, thank you for watching. Please remember, like, subscribe, and share my videos. Thank you very much.